What's going on, everyone? My name is Brosho. Welcome back to a brand new video, and today I want to talk about why I think The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is not going to release until 2023. But before that, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, it would be appreciated. So let's get into it. So Breath of the Wild 2, it's my most anticipated game. Any mainline Zelda game is always my most anticipated game, and I really wasn't sure about Zelda's release date until this recent Nintendo Direct that we had about a week ago. Zelda was nowhere to be found, surprisingly, which I think is really peculiar because while I do think Breath of the Wild 2 will be at E3, the fact that we saw nothing Zelda at all at the Nintendo Direct strikes me as odd because we know Zelda is a franchise that Nintendo wanted to make a yearly franchise, so the fact that we haven't seen anything for at least this first half of the year, but as far as we know, this game is coming out this year. I mean, last E3, Nintendo said that they were aiming for a 2022 release date, and I do think that this year at E3 we probably will get a pretty huge blowout for this game. Probably something similar to E3 2016, where Nintendo just absolutely killed it, where Zelda was basically the main thing that they had. I mean, that was probably one of my favorite E3s, because seeing Breath of the Wild, just all the treehouse footage, the trailer, just everything that we got of it, and people getting to play the demo, it was amazing. I love that so much. But the only way that I can really see Nintendo releasing Breath of the Wild 2 this year is they do a huge blowout during E3, and then they release the game a few months later, probably in November, which November is still a very huge open slot for games for Nintendo, since we know Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl just came out a few months ago, and we just had Pokemon Legends Arceus a few weeks ago. So that leaves that November slot very wide open, which is probably what they are absolutely going to try and aim for, but I would not be surprised if we get delays, especially since this pandemic has really impacted this game, because remember we got the original reveal back in 2019 during E3, and then we went 2 years without hearing anything about it until E3 2021, where we finally got to see some more of the game. That's really the only way I could see it, because we know Nintendo, they sit on games for... Nintendo, they're notorious because they will have the game fully developed and they won't reveal it until the game is done or it's in its very final stages of development, like translations, and then it finally comes out a few months later, like we saw with Pikmin 3 and Paper Mario The Origami King. Because I'm sure we would all assume that this game would take much less time than the original Breath of the Wild, which I remember the original Breath of the Wild, I remember going through that cycle waiting for that game, and I remember back in 2015, Nintendo had a meeting with their investors and they revealed that, hey, Breath of the Wild is basically done, we're just going over the translations right now. But the game was eventually delayed until 2016 and then delayed till 2017 to release with the Switch, which was a very smart move because, I mean, look at Breath of the Wild now. I believe the sales are sitting at 27.5 million copies, about to approach 28 million, making it easily one of the best-selling games of all time, which those sales numbers have absolutely dwarfed any other previous Zelda game, like just absolutely. It sold several times more than even the closest Zelda game, which I believe is Ocarina of Time. I mean, if you include Ocarina of Time, the original, and the 3D sales together, Breath of the Wild, I believe, has more than doubled that, which is insane. So this is a game that they really want to take their time on. They don't want to mess up anything, which in the end will be a really good thing for us because we know that Breath of the Wild 2, it started off as DLC. Eiji Aonuma said that they had so many ideas that they just decided to make a whole new game that takes place in the same world. They said they're not done with this world yet, which makes me really excited for when we do finally get the blowout, but that could be what's taking so long. Not only that, I remember before even Breath of the Wild came out, they revealed the DLC Pack 1 and 2, which would be released later that year, at least the first pack, DLC Pack 1, and then DLC Pack 2 released later. So they could also be working on the DLC of this game already, which is kind of insane. I remember people were upset about that back in 2017, since the game had not even came out yet and they're already releasing DLC. But one thing I really love about Nintendo is I know they've got our backs. Their games don't usually come out with a ton of bugs. Like a lot of companies, they will release their game and it will be incomplete and they'll leave it up to the patches as long as they've got your pre-order. But with Nintendo, that's usually never the case. They usually deliver a complete product from the very beginning, which is something I love very much, because you see other companies like Bethesda or CD Projekt Red with Fallout 76 and Cyberpunk 2077, where they've already got 8 million pre-orders and they've already got your money and they'll just fix the game later, that's very messed up on game developers' parts. But with Nintendo, it's not like that and I enjoy it very much. And I can't wait till we see this game again. I know this game is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And the fact that it's taken this long, it's been 5 years since Breath of the Wild came out, and the DLC was already completed at that time also. So they've just been working on this game. And since it's taken so long, honestly, it's probably taken longer than the original development of Breath of the Wild. So I have a feeling next time we see this game, we're gonna have huge surprises in store, and it's probably going to absolutely blow our mind. I mean, the Sky Islands, that's one thing, but I have a feeling they have much more in store for this game. Like, seriously. But I want to know you guys' thoughts. Do you think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to release this year? Because I don't. Like, certainly, I won't be surprised if it doesn't. But I really can't see it releasing, like, early next year. That's the thing. Because Zelda games are always try and hit that November release date with their main major releases. But tell me what you guys think in the comments. Also, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And check the channel out to see more videos just like this. I love doing Zelda videos. Zelda's my favorite series. But I'll see you guys in the next video. I've been Brosho. Peace.